I want to acknowledge several things and very briefly wrap up. First, the acknowledgement is that many of you in this room already spent considerable time with us on the phone or through emails, helping kind of create the background to this rich discussion today. And I think that it really is a discussion that will continue. Obviously, organizations that have methods have to put certain things in black and white and then say that's what it's going to be for a while, just so there's a level playing field. We'll try to learn and then kind of keep going forward. And we all feel like we're still at the point of not being sure what is new here, what needs to be new. It's really hard to figure that part out. But I think patients feel that there's something new, clinicians do, and I think ultimately payers will also. And the question is how we provide an HTA product and a process that helps illuminate that kind of thought process as the whole system kind of moves forward. So some of the takeaways, I had, and I'll go back to the beginning, we're going to have to rethink our definition of SSTs. Should it just be single and short-term therapies, and we leave it at that? Should it have some scale, magnitude of health benefit? Some people still say you should, say 30 QALYs, 30 undiscounted QALYs to get in the door, to be an SST around which we'll do something else. Something similar to what some of the nice small print might say, or not. So we'll have to rethink that. Around uncertainty, I'm really excited about playing with uncertainty. I really do want to think more about ways we can do this. I'm also a big fan of experimenting with visualization. I think we do a terrible job of making visual and intuitive what we're trying to do with appraisal groups. So better methods, if there were some research out there that I think would be exciting, please think of using our appraisal committees as guinea pigs. Let's think of new ways to put a PSA up, a new way to do cost-effectiveness acceptability curves, a new way to do EVP or net health benefit, because numbers on a page versus some kind of graphic representation, I think there's a lot of work that we could continue to do there. I do think that we're going to have to reconsider from our own proposals at ICER the basic idea of whether we should produce at least alternative value-based prices that are modulated by some measure of uncertainty. We ditched the idea of the PSA as a specific downgrade, if you will. There might be other ways, again, through financial analysts or other thinking to do this that we'll need to explore. But that idea is coming around in our thinking again, not as a normative output, but as, again, a potential scenario that we might need to consider. I'm not going to go too deep into the additional benefits dimensions. I think we had a good discussion around that. Again, we live with the tension that it feels very real to patients and to others, and we need to figure out how to make that more visually real as well as concrete in the thinking. And whether that's bolting it onto the QALY or something else, we just have to continue to work on methods to do that, to elevate some of those issues, address the opportunity cost if we need to, but somehow make that a better process. But that's not just for SSTs. Discounting, I'm going to discount entirely because we spoke enough about it. And then here again, I think what I appreciate is that we touched and generated some of the instinctual passion that comes up when we hear from people around the pricing, around it being unfair, but there are unintended consequences. Cures mean a lot to people. How do we make sure that we keep an innovative ecosystem with whatever we might tamper with in terms of value-based pricing? So I think we've learned a lot from today's discussion, and we will go back again and think about some of the options for how we will manage that, trying not to make it too complicated. So I'd like to acknowledge once again the contributions of NICE, CADIF, and some of you in the room who helped contribute to today's discussion. For ICER's process, we have our finalization of our adapted methods for whatever we'll call them, SSTs, on November 12th. That's the date at which we will put out our final version to guide our reports launching in 2020. We've done this on one occasion, I think, back 2 years ago around potential other benefits. We did put into our final version that we would be doing a 6-month trial of something to do some rapid learning and then to kind of have a firmer foot in the ground afterwards. I'm not sure we'll do that, but we'll be thinking about whether there's some areas where we would want to test something for 6 months before really saying that this is what we're going to do for the next 2 to 3 years. And so we'll continue to benefit from your guys' input. Again, the letters that you and your company sent were very, very helpful already. We know we'll have some ongoing conversations with some of you. We'll have further conversations with NICE and CADITH. But thanks a lot, because this is a fascinating area, and we will revisit it with you and others as time goes forward. But I am actually full with optimism, because it's going to be uneven, and we're not going to even know when we get it right. But I think we had a lot of the views on the table today that will help guide us in the thinking going forward. So keep sending us that feedback, and thank you again for coming today.